Okay, today we're going to start talking about banking services, and then later on in the unit we will talk about credit and credit cards. Okay, so the first step when you choose a bank is making sure that, or a credit union too, so any kind of banking services, you want to make sure that the financial institution is going to meet your needs. So take a look at all of the accounts that they offer. So maybe you want to buy a car in the future. Okay, you might want to make sure that they have an auto loan. Okay, also pay attention to the interest rates that are charged on loans. We'll talk a little bit more about interest rates tomorrow, so I don't want to get too much into that today. But you want to consider the location and the facility business hours too. So I'm going to tell you a little story. So when I first got up to Plainfield, I was still doing my banking down in Batesville, Indiana, where I'm from. And it was fine. It was working for a while. I could do most of the things that I needed to do on the app on my phone. But I knew that First Financial was getting ready to, or Main Source, which is where I banked, was getting ready to merge with First Financial. So while it wasn't ideal to have my bank be an hour and a half away, or the closest bank of my branch be an hour and a half away, I knew that eventually I was going to have a bank that was going to be close by because they just finished up the branch in Avon. So you want to make sure that the locations are, going to make sense for your life and that the hours fit with your schedule. So really do your homework and make sure that you can find the right fit. Okay, always make sure that you find an insured financial institution. So the FDIC, or the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, those are the people that insure most banks. The NCUA, or the National Credit Union Administration, those are the people that insure most credit unions. All that means is that each depositor's account is insured for a certain amount as designated by the NCUA or the FDIC. And as a result, the money that you put in is going to be safe up to a certain amount. So if the bank gets robbed or the bank goes bankrupt, you still have your money. So before we had insured financial institutions, if the bank were to get robbed or if the bank went bankrupt, you just didn't get your money back, which was really unfortunate. Okay, checking accounts. A personal checking account is a safe place to keep your money. It also offers a convenient way to pay bills and make purchases because you can write checks or you can use your debit card. Opening a checking account usually requires a minimum deposit. It's not usually a whole lot, and some financial institutions might even waive that just to make sure that they can get you as a customer. Others might charge a monthly fee. So you just kind of have to do your homework, because if you can find one that doesn't have a monthly fee, that's definitely going to be a better deal in the long run. Others might require that you keep a certain amount of money in your account at all times. It could be $100, it could be $50, it just depends on the bank. And then in those instances, if your account falls below that amount, whatever that is, then they might charge you a fee. Okay, so free checking accounts might be offered if you open up a savings account. Okay, usually you will have to pay a fee in order to order checks for your account because they're very personalized to your account specifically. They have your name printed on them. They have the numbers at the bottom, and those are what signal what bank that people should be pulling the money from. So when you write a check to be cashed by somebody else, their bank can see, okay, we need to take the money out of this bank and what account. So we need to take the money out of this bank and this account. When you write checks, you want to avoid errors and chances of fraud by using blue or black pen. Never write in pencil, okay, especially on a check, because then somebody could erase the information that you wrote and write whatever they want. So that's not good. You want to make sure that it's blue or black pen. When a check is made out to you, so when somebody writes you a check, maybe for your birthday, Christmas, whatever, you need to endorse it, which means that you sign it on the back saying, hey, I am ready to receive this money. So you never want to endorse a check before you cash or deposit it, and you never want to sign a blank check. Okay, so if you endorse a check before you're ready to cash or deposit it, if something were to happen on your way into the bank and you lost that endorsed check, somebody else could take that check to the bank and cash it. And then signing a blank check is never a good idea because you don't want to, have that check get lost, and then anybody who finds it can fill in whatever information they want, take it to the bank and get it cashed because your signature authorizes that money to come out of your account. Okay, this is what it looks like when you endorse a check. So if this were the check that's written to you, if you flip it over, this is what they're showing here. So it usually says endorsed check here. And then this, they just kind of enlarged and moved up here. So you can see that Jane signed the check. She said for deposit only, and then she gave her account number. Okay, in a moment, we are going to practice writing checks for some practice. So here are the different things that go on a check and how you should write it. Okay, so on the date line right here, that's the date that the check is being written. You need to make sure that you include the month, the day, and the year because checks are only good for 6 months. So that's what lets your financial institution know kind of when that clock starts. Okay, right here on the pay to the order of line, this is who the check is being written to. So who would you like to receive this money? If it's a name, make sure that you write the first and the last name because, there are a lot of people who are named Lauren. So if you write me a check and you fill it out, pay to the order of Lauren, a lot of people could take that and cash it. Okay, in this box right here, this is the amount that the check is being written for numerically, so in numbers. So if it were $50, it would be 50, and then a decimal point, and then 2 zeros. Okay, this is an added safety measure. These two have to match. So this is the amount that the check is being written out for, out in words, so not numerically. Numerically is up here. This is where you write it out in numbers. This is where you write it out in words. Okay, if there are cents, and even if there aren't cents, you should write it as a fraction over 100. And I'm going to show you what that looks like here in a minute. Okay, the memo down here is a note for yourself or for the person that the check is for with the reason for the check. So I want you to think about any check that gets written to PCMS. So if you were buying a spiritwear shirt and you had to pay the treasurer, you would make the check out to PCMS. If you had to pay your book bill, you would make it out to PCMS. So this maybe will help you to remember, why did I write that check to PCMS? So you could write book bill or spiritwear shirt or whatever makes sense there. Okay, and then your signature goes here. We're gonna do a little bit of practice, so sit tight.
All right, guys, we're going to write a few practice checks just to kind of get the groove of things. So our first check we are going to write today. Today's date is 8/27/2020. I am writing this using a pencil. You wouldn't typically write checks fill out checks with a pencil, but that is all I have on hand at the moment. So we're going to keep using it. So let's say that today I need to go to Target after school, and I am going to spend $4.78. This amount written numerically needs to match this amount written in words. Okay, so I'm going to write 4 and then the cents are always written as a fraction over 100. So I'm going to write 78 over 100. I'm going to draw this line so nobody can add anything to it. Okay, I am going to put that I need to get some new pens because I can't find my blue and black pens. And then I'm going to sign my name. Okay, and then check 1 is done. Okay, so if we move on to check 2. Let's say that I am going to write my next check to my brother. So I'm going to write that tomorrow. Maybe I'll see him tomorrow and say 8/28/2020. We'll just pretend that my brother's name is Bart. Put Bart Seifert. Okay, and then we'll say that I owe him $20 for our dad's birthday gift. Okay, maybe he bought it. Okay, so then this needs to be 20 and 0 over 100. Draw my line, sign my name. Okay, so then our last check, we will say that I am going to go somewhere on 8/29/2020, and I don't know, let's say I go to Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to put Hobby Lobby. We'll say I spent $37.61. Okay, so then this needs to match, so it needs to be 37 and 61 over 100. For, we'll say it's for fabric, maybe I have a sewing project coming up. Sign my name. And that's it. Okay, but now we need to fill in our check register. Okay, so this is your check register. This is how you keep track of how much money you have in your account at any given time. Okay, so if we have money in our account when we start this check register, that's what's going to go here. So we will say that I am going to start with maybe like $150. Okay, the first check we wrote, okay, if you remember, I don't know if you noticed this and I forgot to point it out, but these checks are numbered. So this has 001 and this has 002. So our very first check is 001, and we wrote that check on 8/27, and that was to Target. Okay, the check was for $4.78, but we need to figure out if we need to write that in the withdraw column or in the deposit column. Okay, but what I'll tell you is if we are withdrawing money, that means that it is coming out of our account. So it needs to subtract from our running total column. So this is like the running total. Okay, and then anything in this column is going to be added. Okay, so we need to make sure that we write in our withdrawal column $4.78 because that's how much we spent at Target. So $4.78. So then we're going to get our handy dandy calculator out. Okay, we're going to write in our $150. Then we're going to subtract our $4.78 because it is being withdrawn from our account. So that gives us $145.22. Okay, so then our next check was check 002. It was written on 8/28, and it was to Bart Seifert. Okay, this was also a withdrawal, so this was money that was leaving my account. So I need to take out $20. Okay, so that leaves me with $125.22. Okay, but here's the deal. Tomorrow, I don't know if you know this, but tomorrow is payday for me. If I have a check coming to me, it doesn't really matter that I know what the check number is. It's more for me keeping track of the checks that I write. So on 8/28, I am going to get a paycheck. Okay, so because this is a paycheck, this is money that's coming into my account. So I'm going to say that I'm going to get $1,000 in my paycheck. So that leaves me with $1,125.22. Okay, but don't forget, we also went to Hobby Lobby, so that was check 003, and that was on 8/29. So I need to fill in Hobby Lobby. Okay. And this was money that was leaving my account, so it's $37.61. So now we're going to go back to our calculator, and I have my $1,125.22. I need to subtract my $37.61, which leaves me with $1,087.61. Okay, so that is how you fill out a check register and checks.